that in for you.
I never
On
do.
that.
I just roll with it because.
Yes, we're doing our. Are we on YouTube yet? We're on YouTube yet? Okay, so we're getting ready to roll in on IE Newswire Live on Facebook. We'll kick off the whole enchilada as we're bringing things in on the fly, as we don't normally do, but it's fun.
Since when?
Think we know what we're doing.
Do we have to?
No.
Okay, good.
It's the fun of this thing. You don't really have to have a lot of talent either to do it.
Okay.
As we're doing that, we're going to have Ali MAZERI on, candidate for Assembly's 61st District, which is right in this area, and that is where 4, 3,
What time?
2, 1. Slide guitar music coming in, which signifies we're getting ready to rock and roll here live at 5. We're on YouTube, IE Newswire Live on that and Facebook, and we will be rolling into KMET 1490 the Mighty Met in about at the bottom of the hour. We're going to have Ali MAZERI on, candidate for Assembly District 61, which incorporates the east end of Riverside, Moreno Valley, Paris, in that area of that. Represented right now by the odious Jose Medina.
Odious?
Yes, odious, because he votes. He's one of the supermajority up there in the state legislature that is continually hosing Californians. But it's really not his fault. As I've said, mostly it's our fault, looking in the mirror, for voting these ding-dongs in there. But we'll...
You get the government you deserve.
That's it. And I mean... Ali ran against him last time and only got like 36, 37%. And I mean, Jose's won it like with, in the 60s every time. Another educator of that, and not necessarily saying people that are teachers or educators are bad, but when they have these policies, and like I said, we talked about the UCR thing, and I told you, when you were doing that, when you were all recruiting, changing the University of California at Riverside from a agricultural, kind of a sleepy little college that nobody really gave a crap about, when you wanted to turn it into Berkeley Light, this is what you get. You get them. Now they're using our money against us. And Tacano, another educator who is our congressman in this area, or got a deadlock or got a built-in army of volunteers over there at UCR that go out and to tell you all the frilly little things that are going on about that.
Okay, wait a second. Do you know the guy we need to bring up? Do you have it queued up?
What do I need to queue up?
The professor from long ago.
Oh, Armando Navarro. No, I don't have that yet.
Jesse, you need to bring up Armando Navarro. We need to listen to... this is what, 20 years ago?
Yeah, whatever that is. We got some breaking stuff on that. I don't know. We'll get right into that yet. But yeah, that is a good case for seeing why you didn't. What was going on at UCR and what precipitated this?
Correct.
Of this, and you thought this stuff was all that we were going to educate your kids and do that? No, this was all up there. It was talked about. The reason he knows about this is because I used to grab him by the shirt collar and make him listen to George Putnam from 12 to 2 Monday through Friday on that. And we had the inside scoop of what was going on. People thought we were crazy when we're telling you or saying, hey, you should be paying attention. No, you want to hear that? I want to say this about MAZERI. We've got Jason Hunter on. That's a $750 million school bond about RCC and stuff. I'm going to find the ad because they've been running yes on A's, all this. Guess what?
Do tell.
A firefighter is talking about the needs of how your schools are going to burn down if you don't pass this bond. Yeah. Does this sound like somebody who said this again and that?
More fear tactics, of course.
And all of this stuff, I'm going to ask all of you. point blank, and I think I'll bring it up maybe in the. When are you going to grow a pair and quit getting screwed over on this stuff?
Apparently never.
Because why are you keep? I mean, it's crazy of why you keep buying this stuff. Why you keep buying the false narrative, the BS, the baloney that they keep putting out on this stuff. And again, open microphones, phone lines are open. Call in, tell me I'm wrong. All of you. If you ain't got guts enough to come in there, but don't do this little sneaky back around this stuff or trying to do this and that, have enough guts to come up here on this show or anywhere else. I will drive to the Sahara freaking desert to debate you on this. Anybody that thinks I've been wrong or what I have said on this whole subject of ads and what they've been doing to us, I will debate anybody on this anywhere at any time. Let's get it on. Because I know, I am very confident that when the dust settles, I'm going to be right. So let's stop the backbiting and the BS that's been going on, because I know you're listening.
Well, having lived in the UCR metropolitan area, literally right down the street from, I was actually in the University Heights area in my high school days. And yes, both of us frequented a place called the Bull and Mouth, which is no longer there, which I think you would admit would be highly politically incorrect today.
Yeah.
That college has turned into one thing and one thing only: a self-perpetuating anachronism that has but one object, and that is to grow its influence, period.
No, grow its political influence, period.
That is what all of it is.
The indoctrination of that. And we're going to talk about that because we got some clips.
That's why we need to bring up the clip.
We got some clips coming. No, we got
more recent stuff.
Yes, we got brand new stuff.
Oh, okay.
Between Bloomberg and they're cutting him for actually when he was mayor, the one thing he did do was actually him and he followed Giuliani started it. He followed the policy of Friskin.
Well, it was. Yeah.
Basically,
stop and frisk.
Stop and frisk.
So if you were a derelict wandering about the street and you looked questionable, the cops were encouraged to, hey, come here. Let's talk with you. Where are you going? Where have you been? Where are you headed? Where do you live?
You know what he's doing, and we'll run the clips later after at the bottom of the hour when we come on KBT. Now he's backing up.
Well, of course, because that's no longer popular.
Yes, because, you can't, you're saying, the quotes that he used, I'm going to say this, it's just like Leo Terrell. He's a fellow talk show host on KABC 790, I'm going to say it. He does weekends and fill-ins and stuff, calls himself the fair-minded civil rights attorney. And he said, you know what? You little stupid Leo. Maybe we'll get Leo on here. He said, you know what? The reason blacks are in charge with crimes more is because they commit more. Leo happens to be black and a civil rights attorney and works in the industry and is saying this. So let's, again, like with all of this stuff, let's deal honestly with it. Let's have honest debates about the facts and have guts enough to tell it really the way it is. Don't quit running these false narratives and all this BS and crap all across because it's doing none of us any good. It's the ultimate, again, when they are doing this, they're using this to hose you, to put you under their control, and as Mason Weaver says, keep you on the plantation, keep you scared, think that you're dependent on them for your survival, what the Stockholm Syndrome, where you come to love your captor because you think that's the only way you're going to survive. And that's what they're doing. They keep these constant threats on you that are not there.
Well, what it is it's a totalitarian thought police. They are not the group of free ideas and free think. They are a totalitarian dictatorship, and as long as you march lockstep with them, you're great. And if you don't, you're the enemy. There is no room for dissension. There is no room for articulating a different viewpoint. They will not accept a different viewpoint. They simply only want you to agree with them or you're the enemy. That's it. It's an all or nothing thing with them. So I understand where this has gone, and we watch this. We've been watching this for 40 years. Go straight into the toilet.
Yes.
And everybody it's like the ant on the tractor tire. It knows something's going on, but it's just not quite sure what it is.
But it's going to find out.
But it's going to find out. And when it comes rolling over the ant's going to know.
Yeah. And
that's where you're all headed. If you don't wake up and smell the coffee, as they say, as Roy would like to do. Did you hear the study that people that drink coffee have denser bones?
Yeah, I saw. I was going to do that. No, yeah, I saw that the other day.
I figured. I thought of you because I think.
I think I was going to do it Friday or something, but I forgot. But yes, again, it's like the false narrative. Next week, you're going to hear if you drink coffee, you're going to die of cancer next week.
Well, you remember they told us that butter was bad, margarine was better. And then we find out that margarine is 2 molecules away from plastic.
Same thing. You used to work in the dairy industry. You used to do that. They just came out with a study that whole milk is better for you than all this non-fat chemical.
Of course.
No kidding. The real milk, without you monkey wrenching into it, is better than when you start food. Everybody thinks they're smarter than Mother Nature on that across the board. We have our guest on. Not only is he just one hell of a guy, great entrepreneur, lots of businesses, commercial property, but you probably really know if you've ever driven off the 215 at Ramona Expressway, a little off the west end. He's got the AM/PM store over there with the big gas station, diesel truck stop, car wash, oil change center of that. But more importantly, in the last few years, he's become really politically active in our politics, in our local politics where it counts. He ran for assembly against, as I said, the odious Jose Medina in the last election. Unfortunately, he didn't win, but he's up swinging the bat at it again like you can do every 2 years. It's your responsibility. You can change the whole 100% of the assembly in the state of California, all 80 members, every 2 years. That's why I like this, and that's why I advocated, and you people in Moreno Valley passed the 2-year term of mayor, because it holds them accountable. There is no excuse for the situations, a lot of the things we have going on in California. But Ali MAZERI, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, Roy?
You got it. My cousin Dwayne's here of that. And first off, and I'm going to say that Stephanie was out with us Sunday. We got to sit up with one of your buddies, Jeff Nelson of MPG Asphalt. We got to sit up in his suite at the Winter Nationals of Pomona, so that was a heck of a great seat. You're sitting behind the starting line watching the drag cars go on. So I want to, again, give a shout-out to Jeff Nelson for his hospitality for us last Sunday.
Yeah, Jeff Nelson's a great guy.
You got the, I've known him almost, we're the same age, actually. I'm a native of Edgemont. I don't think he is. I think he was like a year or two when he moved in. But way back with the Nelson family around here, all of that. Yeah, Jeff and his whole family are great people.
Yeah. We're very close family friends, and we do everything together. So I'm glad you had fun with them, and looking forward to seeing them myself.
You got
in the
it.
next couple of days.
So like we were talking about, and a lot of things were breaking on that, but you're running for the Assembly District in 61, which incorporates most of the area where people are hearing us at. Tell them where it's at.
Basically, District 61 covers 60% of Riverside, all of Moreno Valley, all of Paris, Meade Valley, and High Grove in Riverside County. So it's a pretty big area, and, we're going to do it this time, as you said.
Yeah. It's absolutely 100% imperative. And we got a critical situation going on in the state of California.
Yep.
All across the board. Local governments, school districts, county, up to the state, as I call them, the scoundrel of Sacramento's. And I started this, and that's what I said. We have 120 in the legislature up there, plus the governor, secretary of state, statewide offices. we can change all 80 in the assembly every 2 years, every 4 years the 40 senators. Works kind of like the Congress does a little bit, the assembly terms. But that's really where the assembly is really where the nuts and bolts or things are done in the state of California. Right now, we got a supermajority, which means over 2/3 of the members are of the Democratic Party, and a vast majority of them, they're not middle of the road or Democrats you can work with. The vast majority of them are far off the left end of the circuit, and they've been systematically doing things like the one thing that's really got people's attention is this AB5, where they're taking the independent contractors and basically eliminating that whole thing. And where it's caught the attention is Uber and Lyft, and most people are familiar with it and probably use Uber or Lyft. And those guys are, making a living, probably owning a new car that they've never had before or couldn't afford before without doing this, without ride. But they can. Now that Uber and Lyft came along, they could go out, buy a new car when they're not doing nothing or whatever. They could shuttle people around, make the payments and stuff, and then on their time, they're making a living, driving a new car. Everybody's happy. What does the state of California and Gavin Newsom and our legislature do? Say, well, that's no good. We got to make them employees and up the rates. And what it's going to do is cost you substantially more to do that. Plus, they can, editorial writers like Susan Shelley, who's on the show, which is vice president of Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, which just endorsed Alley, I might add. They eliminated that, so it's going to have a ripple effect across the economy. And now this issue, I think, is catching fire across party lines on that. But this is what they're doing to you every day that you don't see.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're destroying the gig economy. They're taking over what kids can learn in school with AB 329 that was passed in 2015, and they're rolling it out. I'm having town hall meetings every week with constituents, and they are very stressed out about parental rights that they're losing, what the kids could learn about, all these interesting things that we can't talk about on radio about their kids, K through 12. And that's a hot topic. AB5, as you mentioned, is a hot topic. Gas tax is a huge topic. The cap and trade, that is every day. It goes up and down. So it could go tomorrow. It could go up to 75 cents per gallon. It's built into the gas price, wholesale price. So all these things are making California one of the worst states in the nation. We're ranked bottom 5 on education, and we need to wake up. When is enough enough? That was my whole point on social media. I need to start waking people up because this is getting ridiculous. And the reason why I'm running, we came to the United States. I'm an immigrant for a better life for me. My parents want a better life for me. Now I want a better life for my kids, and that is dwindling away because all these regulations, all these educational things, all these freedoms are being taken away every day. And people need to wake up and get involved because enough is enough.
It is. You mentioned a couple of them that we're down in the bottom of education in the Inland Empire. I mean, again, thank God for Bakersfield and Fresno, else we would be down in the bottom. This is a national study of going on, and this shows this education study, and Ali posted it on IE Newswire. I really encourage everybody to go read it because this shows the vast divide of what they're doing to California. Because San Francisco, San Jose, the Silicon Valley is ranked up in the top. Central California, Southern California, LA, Riverside, Fresno, Bakersfield, all in the bottom. This is what you're seeing. To me, the closest thing I see is you're seeing California turning into Mexico, where there's going to be 2 or 3% that are going to control everything, and the 90%, the 93% of the peasants are going to be there starving to death, barely making a living.
Exactly. Roy, I want to read some numbers to you.
Go ahead.
And it's just not affecting Hispanics, but also African Americans. These are some statistics right out of the census. 75% of black children are born out of wedlock. 75% of black boys in California don't meet the state reading and writing standards. 50% of the black boys in California don't meet this standard for English. 80% of black boys fail to meet the standard readings for fourth grade. As an employer, that worries me. I give every employee, that potential employee, a test from third grade and fourth grade. I have an 86% fail rate. There's a problem when I can't even hire employees that are willing to work and they can't do simple math. This is the answer they have, and the scary part: Hispanics and African Americans continue to vote the same people in, thinking there's going to have a better ending. But this is 4 decades of Democratic rule in California, and these are the results. 60% of juvenile delinquents and 80% of adult inmates are illiterate. 48% of black boys in California don't even finish high school. And then our child minorities don't read proficiently, and California is ranked 46th out of the 50th state. Now, for being one of the most best economy, top 5 in the world, I think we're ranked number 7th in the world in economy. Why do we have this?
Yes. If you adjust that, as Richard Ryder points out, if you adjust that for cost of living, we're down like 12 or 13. And even in the United States, where they rank us number 1, but when you adjust us for cost of living, we're down to 39. So it's like the old adage that figures never lie, but liars figure. And you can run statistics a lot, and you can make. I mean, I've done it myself. I mean, you can make numbers look however you want. But that's what the tragedy, and like I've talked about a little bit on this stuff, the tragedy is that's what we're doing. We're manipulating the process. We're not telling the real story, the real truth, or the real way you're going to ultimately benefit or live or have a high quality of life. And the big reason why is they want you under their control. If they can use fear or whatever tactic that if you don't vote for us, that boogeyman out there is going to get you. That's what they're preying. And they prey upon our most vulnerable citizens in doing this.
And as parents, we need to wake up and want to have better for our children. These numbers don't show that. And we need to hold Sacramento and state legislators accountable for these numbers. And you cannot deny that the state has been under Democratic control for the last 4 decades. 40 years of this. So when is enough enough? I'm worried about my children. I pulled one of my kids out of school, and I'm homeschooling because the curriculum for sex ed even made me blush. And just think about a 9-year-old.
Yeah, good for you.
So I'm like, this is not acceptable.
I have to ask a question because I have a friend that teaches here. Okay, he's not allowed to expel anybody from class, no matter how bad they are. All right, it doesn't matter what they do; they are not allowed to kick him out of class. So if you can't punish somebody for being a reckless individual, you lose any control of your class. Now, he's different. He takes charge of his class. But here's the thing. How many teachers can't or are unwilling to do so? If they follow the letter of the current law, they're not allowed to get rid of any student, which means, hey, you're going to pass no matter what. We don't care what you do. Show up, don't show up. You're going to get a pass.
Yep, exactly. And then the scary part, this curriculum is being pushed by the CTA.
Right.
And the CTA is not even protecting their own teachers because just last week in Temecula, a teacher was beat up by a student. And the child was never, held accountable.
Right. And so what do we do?
What kind of thing is that? You don't even protect your own teachers.
No. And if you can't protect the teachers, you're going to have chaos. And if you have chaos, nobody's going to learn.
We have chaos now.
Right.
Teachers are leaving the system not because of unions, not because of pay benefits. They're leaving because they're scared of safety.
And can you blame them?
No, I mean, but my whole thing: when is enough enough? And we got to somehow wake up the constituents to start voting and holding people accountable. That's why I'm mad. I'm beyond frustrated. And if this was a radio show, I'll be cussing left and right.
Right.
It is. Oh yeah.
Watch what I say.
It is. It's very frustrating of what's going on, and again of how to to do that. But we'll be working on this. I know it's a project of yours, it's a project of mine, and many others. We got to put our collective heads together and really start reaching out to those areas of where we haven't. So we'll do that. But you got about a minute left. Tell them how they can get a hold of you, follow your stuff, and support Ali MAZERI for Assembly in District 61.
That would be great. You can reach me via Facebook on Vote for Ali. That's VOTFORALI or www.VOTFORALI.org. And my number is pretty easy, 714-715-1685. What other politician will give his personal cell number out online? And that's me right now. So
that's awesome.
Call me if you want me.
There you go. You can actually talk to the candidate instead of reading those 30-second spots. Thanks for being on. We'll have you on again, Ali.
Thank you, Roy. Have a great night.
You got it.
Bye-bye.
That's it. I mean, been out to Ali's house. He throws a lot, and he's been doing that. He's been doing a lot of grassroots work of stuff of that. So if you really want to get involved and change things, invest a little bit back into your community and pay a little bit, sometimes, and I know it's hard, everybody's busy and they got us under the gun on a lot of this stuff. Take a few minutes, few minutes a week, few minutes out of the day or something and just, really start looking at what's going on and what's happening. Because, like I say a lot of times, after the fact is too late. Like he was saying, if you're the ant in the tire, you're on the tire and it starts rolling, something's happening, but you don't know quite yet what yet for a few seconds, and then it's all over. And we don't want to become, we don't want to get to that point. And there's a lot of storm clouds out there, a lot of things, and if we don't straighten this stuff out, I mean, it's just like we had the little skit about Nevada. I mean, I don't know if you saw that, but catch this. Like I say, don't let the cancer cow. This didn't start in California, but it was a nutty idea. Millennials can't parallel park, so they're taking parallel parking out of the driver's license test.
Of course, they might get triggered, right?
I mean, the absurdity of that is it cracks you up. But when you really start to think about it, look at how far our society is coming.
It's idiocracy. I'm telling you, it's idiocracy. That's a movie for those of you that haven't seen it, and it's supposed to be a parody. It's supposed to be a comedy, and guess what? You're living it. It's what's happening now. People can't do anything because they don't want to try. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, well, okay, we'll just take that requirement out. So the next thing will be, you know what? We won't make you make left-hand turns because you have to go against the light. Now, that's difficult. So only make right-hand turns. So drive in greater increasing right-hand circles till you get to your destination.
There you go. Glad Edward writes in, Ali has my vote. That's absolutely fabulous. School choice, baby, all day long. Lauren writes in, yeah. Thoughts on Scott DeForge? We'll get into that when we come back on KME. Thoughts on Lloyd Wright running in District 23. I think he's a Banning City Council.
1 minute, guys.
We'll give you that here coming up in 1 minute when we transition on that. Lloyd, I've interviewed him once. Seems like a pretty good guy, but he's about duller than a board on some of the stuff. I like Rosalia Bowe. I mean, I know she's running for that Senate seat that's coming up on that. There's a couple others coming in. But one thing, and we're going to get, hopefully our videos reset, but there's
30 seconds
you got to think of. And James Carville, none other than the Raging Cajun, said it.
Yep.
These elections are about winning. And that's what you got to do. We've got to get more people and more focus like Donald John Trump. You got to win.
Yeah.
All this exercise about this and that, and
Okay, here we
it's going to
go.
take some retooling.
So easy. IE Newswire Daily is on the air. The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There we go. There's that fancy music coming in that signifies that we're starting as we did. We started live at 5 on IE Newswire, live on Facebook and YouTube. Now we're transitioning to the Mighty Med 1490 KMET, rocking the world out of broadcasting out of Banning, California, where Sean is back there pushing all the buttons, getting us out on that. Jesse's doing all the producing here, getting us out on the web and that, and putting the signal over to there so you can all hear us, not only all across the Inland Empire, but all across the world on the World Wide Web. And I ain't going to mention who, but somebody around here didn't even know what www meant.
Okay. I won't touch it.
Yes, you're a very smart man. Doing that, we did that. We had Ali MAZERI, who's running for District 61 Assembly on that coming up. That's very important elections. But one thing, we're going to cover transition into some of the national stuff right now because today they're starting to count votes in New Hampshire on the first actual primary where you walk in and cast a ballot, not like the caucuses in Iowa, which was a total Democratic disaster, and we covered that very well. We're going to find that out. Looks like slow Joe Biden is going to be into real trouble. It's the third time he's run for president. Looks like he's not won once, one primary caucus or anything running for president.
His numbers decline with every caucus.
Yes. He's going down on that. He didn't even stay in New Hampshire. He's already down in South Carolina to do that. Looks like Bernie's going to win it. Looks like Mayor Pete's going to be second. So we're kind of.
Are you feeling the burn?
Yeah, a little. Well, hey, he's of all the ones of that, and Tom Del Beccaro was on it about 6 months ago saying, "Oh, Elizabeth Warren's the one," and I said, the Democratic race is wide open, but I still got that deal that that it's going to be. I mean, if I said back then, if I had to pick, I'm probably going to think Bernie's doing it. One of the things, but the one surprise or the surprise candidate, well, two of them might. It looks like Amy Klobuchar, the senator from up there north or wherever she's at, looks like she's going to come in a close second. A close third.
She was leading earlier.
Yeah, but it looks like she's going to be that. Mayor Pete's doing really. I mean, this will be the second one. He's either one or two in on that. That's what it looks to solidify. But the rats are going nuts over the whole situation. They are going. They think that in Carville, and hopefully some of our videos went to crap, but hopefully that he's one of them. He was one of the main strategists behind Bill Clinton's presidential runs. That, and no matter what you think of him, he is a brilliant political tactician, and so
he knows how to win a campaign.
Yes, and even though I don't agree with the Raging Cajun, James Carville, most of the time on his political views, I have the utmost respect for him as a political tactician because he knows what the hell he's doing. I mean, he's run winning campaigns all the way up to the president and everything else. So he understands politics and he understands how to make your message move. Whether you agree with it or not, at least I give props to him for that. And he does tell. One of the things that I like about Carville is he tells you the way it is. He doesn't cut the words or mince words. He tells you straight up of what's going on. And we'll do that. Just post, because some of our clips reset. Like, post clip number 3, the one up there, and I'll see if I can find where I want to start with James Carville on that. because of that. Yeah.
There is.
So about 3 minutes. Go to about 3:30 on that and just start it. 3 minutes and 30 seconds on that.
People, if we nominate Bashirian and Edwardian type of Democrats, we're going to win a lot. And Senator Bennett fits in that. The idea of a political party is to win elections. That's all it's about. If you don't do that, you have done nothing. It's not to make a point. It's not to start a revolution. It's not to win an argument. It is to win the election. This is the man that can win the election.
You know what? And if you think he's wrong about that, look at yesterday's New York Times, the article about impeachment. The final quote is from Mitch McConnell. And Mitch McConnell says in there, they didn't have the votes. And maybe if they won more elections, they'd have the votes. That's what Mitch McConnell said.
You know what?
It's the same thing James is saying. We have to win. There's no other way through this but to win.
That's it. You know, everything else is theory.
So stop right there.
Republicans laugh at us.
Because, I get it a lot, or you get all I call them the frou-frou people or stuff, or don't want to hear da-da-da-da-da. Carville's telling you the reality of Trump tells you the reality of the situation. They're on two opposite ends of the political spectrum, but they do know this one thing. If you don't win, it's all for naught. You're not going anywhere. Senator Bennett said it. And that's what a lot of us are saying. Why are you wasting your time on this impeachment? You don't have the votes to remove Donald Trump for office. That was patently obvious. Why are we wasting time with this, doing? That's why Nancy Pelosi is not per se. If she would have if Carville would have probably said, dump this impeachment, get rid of it. It's going nowhere. It's most likely going to come back to backfire on you.
Well, you know who drove it. This was the AOC crowd that Nancy couldn't stand up to because they had this left radical wing group come in on this latest election. But look, here's the numbers. Sanders, 27.6. Buttigieg, 23.5. Klobuchar, 19.9. Nobody ever remembers who comes in second. Well, and James Carville's right. You've got to win the election. It's about winning. And
Slow Joe ain't winning.
No. When you distill it down to the very basics, it's a race, isn't it? Race. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to lose. There's only one winner. And so you're not going to get, Slow Joe. Right. Slow Joe didn't even make the podium, as we say in racing. He didn't bother to get up there. And we don't know what his numbers is. It didn't reflect.
But that's what I'm saying is this whole thing is about winning. And Carville, and if you got the first of it, that's what he's doing. The Democratic Party is in a major meltdown right now, thinking because Bernie looks like he's going to take this thing. I mean, if you're handicapping it right now, the way as it goes through there, I mean, Bernie might be rolling the whole freaking field on this stuff when it all is said and done. And they're all, well, can we get... maybe we'll back Mayor Pete or Klobuchar or this guy Bennett, which is, again, about as dull as a box of rocks, which I don't know why. I mean, I like Carville. Actually, Bennett is somewhat the senator that he was with
sane. On that. That's the thing with Bennett.
He's actually telling you what it is. Like you said, it's about winning of that stuff. And they're actually saying, and that's what I think the Democratic Party is trying to send the signal, and you kind of rolled into it. The AOCs and this radical Bernie Sanders and this whole enchilada, they are winning. They are actually hijacking, as they did in California. Like I said, don't let that cancer of California spread across the country, because it is. They are hijacking the left, the Democratic Party. And if you let them roll, and we're going to do this with the Bloomberg clips coming up here in a minute or two or three or so when we get into that. You let them distort reality, and you're going to rue the day that you let them do that on that. Second place is the first loser.
That's it.
Yes. And
you got it.
That's what I'm saying. People don't remember who finished second.
Nor do they care.
Or nor does it any relevance. You could lose by one vote. It doesn't matter. You're not sitting in the seat. And again, look at AOC. She took out a long-time establishment, 30-year, up what was number 3 in the House or whatever, in the pecking order behind Nancy Pelosi and somebody else. Took her out.
And
Took him out, I should say. She,
right, yes.
so, nobody heard of her. 28-something years old, was working in a bar or some damn thing, and all of a sudden she's up there cackling about making total nonsense about this stuff. I will say this: repeat that process because we watched it first happen here in California. You let that roll through the whole country, and this is how they're doing it.
It's idiocracy. I keep telling you this.
So pull up the first one, or the Bloomberg one, the first video, and I think started at about 15 seconds. So and be ready for when I have that ready for when I'm doing. Michael Bloomberg.
Do we really have to talk about Michael
Yes.
Bloomberg?
Because he was. I mean, he's a success story. Worked his way through the ground up, through college, got himself a job with Goldman Sachs or one of the investment firms, or they fired him. He actually started a investment deal with computer terminals and stuff to do that in the 80s. Made buku of money, started Bloomberg News.
We know his resume.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's a successful guy. Got to be mayor of New York. Followed Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani and Bill Bratton as police chief started Stop and Frisk. And it has to do with the broken window theory. It was a one professor out of UCLA, no less, and I forgot his name, and one back east. They said, really, where you stop this stuff is at the bottom level. You start worrying about, or you start policing the broken windows, the petty thefts, the small stuff, and what you find out is you rein it in before it gets to a big problem, or before they progress to bigger crimes or start threatening you with a gun because now they can't steal enough stuff out of your house. Now they're either pointing a gun at you with a wallet or walking into your store, pointing a gun at you robbing or robbing a bank or something, and you might be the one caught in the crossfire. Or like the ding-dong did down in Texas that walked in, well, you're not giving me food, I'm just going to start open firing on you. But this
didn't work out too well for him, though.
No. And it didn't. And it stopped crime. New York City was a freaking cesspool when Giuliani come in. They started this policy, and what they did, you know, the ones that are looking with the baggy pants and the dreadlocks and whatever, hey, boy, the cops would say, come over here.
That's called profiling.
Yes.
And it is effective.
And that's what they did. They
right.
stopped crime. This is not Roy talking. This is not Dwayne. This is a guy that actually sat in the mayor's seat in New York City and watched his policy work. So start the clip I had of Bloomberg and turn the audio up because it's kind of low because they're trying to, your dominant media is trying to suppress this. Play the clip.
Language. Listen to this.
95% of the murderers and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out all the time. They are male, minorities, 15 to 25. That's true in New York, it's true in virtually every city. And that's where the real crime is.
Well, whether or not it's
Okay,
new,
stop it
opponents
there.
are going to seize on this sound.
Go to about 50 seconds on the next clip. Bloomberg said it. They're minorities. They're 15 to 25. Yeah, to have it stop there, but hold it there. 50 when I get back to it, I want to play that. I'm just getting you ready on that. But so there you go. He's telling you that. He sat in the seat. One of the worst infested problems, and this is how they cleaned it up by doing this. It is called, Google it. It's a broken window theory. It was some professors that started in the 80s out of the American Enterprise Institute, kind of funded, two professors, one in the West and East Coast of that. And they actually come up with this, and they actually put it into policies in New York City, and crime went down dramatically.
61%?
Yes, by doing profiling. People profile every day. You profile.
It was a dramatic turnaround. And it was a positive turnaround for New York City. People actually started going back out into their neighborhoods and walking at night instead of running for the hills before the street lights came on.
Quicken, I got Pop on the line quick because I want to run the next clip, but what do you got to say?
We used to have a car show out at Ali MAZERI's place, and on his back wall back there in the back of the store is a big poster back there with everybody's pictures, because he's got cameras of everybody stealing stuff with the Hall of
Shame is what he calls it. Yes, the Hall of Shame. If you drive behind the AM/PM that I was telling you, it's off the 215, just a little bit west of on Ramona Expressway. He's got a big place there. Yes, he's got the Wall of Shame on there, where he publicly shames the ones that are doing this, just like what they were doing. You can't coddle criminals or think this is going to go away. That's going to make the problem worse. Now, I want to hang tight here. I want to run the second clip that they found that Bloomberg is doing in this, so make sure you get the volume turned up, because they're trying to suppress the real audio on this. So somebody had captured this from 2015. This is what Bloomberg said in 2015, so roll the second one.
Listen to this clip.
Put all the cops in the minority neighborhoods. Yes, that's true. Why do we do it? Because that's where all the crime is. And the way you get the guns out of the kids' hands is to throw them against the wall and frisk them.
He said it. That's where the crime is, in the minority neighborhoods, in these areas. So where do you, if you're trying to stop crime, you send the cops in where the crime are in, and you give them the tools, legally, what you can do to do that. Now, we cannot, if we want to start running racism and stuff, because this is what's happening right now, and I've said that, and this is what I'm saying. The audio, the clean audio that you can hear this, and I hear that, they are pulling off the dominant media because they don't want you to hear this. They are castigating Michael Bloomberg for telling the truth. Bloomberg lost his blank because now he's trying to back up from this stuff. This is what disingenuous, and what I've said, starting in California, this started. If you said anything about any illegal aliens committing crimes, minority neighbor, or anybody, I don't care what. I don't care who's committing the crimes. But when you've got a crime problem in a distinct area, you go in there and clean it out. You don't worry about, oh, we're going to offend somebody or something. No, you take care of it, because if we are living in a crime-ridden, homeless, vagrant, where they can do anything they want, or everybody, it's a free-for-all, you do not have a society, you have anarchy.
You mean you can't go into a shoe store and ask for a donut?
Yes, and demand it. No, demand that
right.
that they feed you.
And that's the absurdity of this.
Demand, I want everything free.
Right. That's the absurdity of this, is because these people that want, now they saw how stop and frisk worked, and it was very effective, and then they reversed the policy. You've got the current mayor of New York City who's an utter failure. This guy is reversed.
Well, because they're backing it up like this.
Right.
Like this Bloomberg, and please, in my routine, do not vote for Bloomberg for president, because he is not, where Donald Trump, this is the difference between Michael Bloomberg could probably sell Donald Trump 5 or 10 times over. But this is the difference between Donald Trump and Michael Bloomberg. Donald Trump would not give up on what he knows is right. Michael Bloomberg is throwing the broken window policy under the bus that he actually saw work, and he continued after he took over from mayor as Moreno Valley, saw that it worked, saw that it cleaned up the city, saw the crime rate went reduction down, and now he's trying to back up with that policy because he thinks he's not going to win an election. What do you say, Pop?
Yeah, that's about right. He took over and showed you the people what's happening. If you don't stop at the bottom, it'll only get worse.
Yes. If you don't tell the truth, you are going to deserve what you get. And I'm going to say that. I'm going to start bringing this up again, because there was only one person out of 40 million people in the frickin' California that told you. Those guys are lying to you.
Well, you know how it was when I brought up people that was writing checks and taking money from the city, and I got called out on it. Where did I get it? Almost like I stole the information, and I got hollered at city council meeting, so I quit doing it.
And that's what the problem is. You cannot, if you back up, I don't care what uniform they got on, what title, what business person or politician or whatever. They're flat out lying to you that. So I'm going to show you a picture when I can capture it of the Measure A, the $750 million school barn, which is RCC district, which is most of Riverside, Corona, Paris, Moreno Valley. This scene is going to look familiar. And what have I told you about these ads? And quit buying the crap. And if we are going to trust anybody, if you want to trust your politicians, if you want to trust your government employees, you want to trust your cops and firefighters and everybody down the line, they got to start telling the truth. Now, I'm going to say this, and I've heard the excuses of that, but you no longer know. You no longer can deny what's going on because the truth is out there, and it's going to come out no matter what. As long as I'm sitting on the top of the side of this grass, at least it's going to, because I got enough nuts to come out there and say it.
Yep.
And that's, if they're going to do that, make your threats, bring it on. That's what I got to say to you, because like I said, there's microphones, there's phone lines in here, there's seats. Come on here and debate it.
No, that's true.
Well, they can't debate it. You know why they can't debate it? Because it falls apart when you apply logic to it. It's never going to survive the logic test.
Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, anyway, as I told you when I was on the planning commission, the lawyer told us, get somebody to make a study, tell them which way you want the study to be, and then propaganda it to the people, and you'll get your way. And if it goes wrong, you can always say, the study told me that was right.
Exactly right. You're listening to somebody that was inside telling you, and this happened in 1987 to 89 is when this happened. He was sitting in the seat. That's what the attorney said. You want to do something? You come in. That's what they do. They get the attorneys, the staff, and stuff to whatever, finagle the reports, or they don't tell you the truth. If they want to build if the politicians want to build a monument to themselves, what they do is they say, "Oh, it's for the kids. We're doing it for public safety. Oh, if you don't pass this tax, your parks are going to close. Your schools are going to be.
Your children
kids
are
not
going to go
have
hungry.
Books or pencils or nothing else if you don't pass this." When what they're really doing is enriching themselves, and the public employees are giving themselves gold-plated salaries on top of platinum benefits, which is busting this state wide open. If you not, we're going to have Jeff Hewitt on the show here pretty soon, because he's now that he's elected in the county supervisors, he really knows a lot more what the heck's going on. And this is what they're doing. They're systematically screwing us into the ground for the benefit of a few for themselves.
Yeah, anybody uses when you hear the word consultant, that means that they're going to get somebody to tell you the lies so you will vote the way they want. And that's what we did on the planning commission. I watched that go on for 2 or 3 different times and to put it on to the people. And they tell you lies. That's what the consultant says. Oh, these numbers are correct. And when they're not, they say, well, we made this mistake. Too bad. You got to pay the bill.
So as long as you've got the money, you can have the outcome you want.
Or the power or the threats.
Right. And that's the bottom line is politics is a dirty business, and you got to get down and dirty to fight. And that's it.
That's it. It's all about winning. It's all about winning. And it's all about telling the truth. And it's just like I said. That's the difference between Trump and Bloomberg. Bloomberg knows the truth. He lived it. He saw it, and now he's backing up because he's trying to. He wants to be president or whatever, and he thinks if he doesn't tell the truth, he's not going to do it. That's not the type of person. If you want that, you want a person that's flat out will let's look at you in the eye and lie because he knows what he's saying, or if he's trying to back up on what he knows was what worked when he saw it. If he's trying to back up on that now, or they're trying to do that, or Bloomberg News or whomever or the dominant media are trying to suppress what the man said in 2015, and that is the truth. He's telling you the truth. Now, if you're going to let them shout you down on racism or this or whatever dirty word, and you back up, you're going to deserve what you get. I mean, I've been told this and I've been told this. Quit saying that crap. They're going to come down on you. Well, like I say, bring it the hell on. Because somebody's got to stand up. And I'm hoping more guys like Allie will do that. Because, and politicians, let's just start saying it like it is. It might tee off a bunch of people or that, but you know what? We're going to go down. If we go down, we're going to go down fighting. And we're going to hang our heads high because we know we're telling the truth and we're telling it the way it is. We're not going to enable the liars and thieves and criminals anymore.
We're done. 30, go.
Oh, my mic died on the deal.
So anyway, we'll finish up the show. We've got a few seconds to do that. So it was good to be in here once again. We have too short a time. We'd like some more time, but we'll see you again.